It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton, the WPKY studios. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Got a lot of things we need to get to today here on the show. First of all, Bob Hayes joins us in the studio. Bob, of course, calling the WPKY games on the radio for us, Tigers and Lady Tigers. And Bob, it's been an interesting season so far.
It has been an interesting season, and the other night we saw a really interesting game with the Lyon County boys and the Caldwell County Tigers. Tigers are beginning to play really some outstanding basketball their last three games, and the ladies seem to be up and down and more up than down, so we hope they're back in their up position here for the next couple, 3 weeks.
Kind of a tough stretch for the Tigers. They go 1-2, but played three games that it felt like they played pretty well in all of those.
They played extremely well and could easily be 2-1. And if the ball bounces two or three different ways down at Lyon County the other night, could be 3-0.
Next game up for the Tigers will be Friday over at Madisonville North Hopkins. That'll be a district date, but Bob, kind of a rare situation this year in the district where only the first game counts in the standings, so not a lot on the line Friday as far as seeding goes, but a win over there would certainly be a big confidence boost for the Tigers.
A win right now for the men's team would be huge, and especially over Madisonville, Todd. Exactly.
Guys will also be headed to Muhlenberg County on Saturday, so again, a busy stretch for them against some good teams. Caldwell County's girls will be at home again on Saturday night playing Ohio County. Bob, I have to confess, I don't know a whole lot about Ohio County this year, but that's a 6 o'clock varsity game out here Saturday.
Yeah, we'll be doing that game as well as the live stream, Todd, on that game.
So Bob Hayes is in the studio with us. We're also going to be talking on the phone this morning with Luther Bramblett, who is the baseball head coach at Midway University. So stay with us as we continue here on the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Humes Jewelers is conducting an online auction for a pair of diamond solitaire stud earrings valued at just under $3,900. You choose silver gold or white gold. These earrings total 1 carat. This one-day online auction will be Thursday, February 11th only and will end at 5 p.m. sharp. Click on Auctions in our Loyal Listener Big Deal store for more information. Better yet, go see these incredibly beautiful diamond stud earrings in person at Humes Jewelers, Fort Campbell Boulevard, Hopkinsville.
Life is filled with moments. Moments we share with those we love, worry about, and strive to protect the most. At Woodman Life, we provide life insurance and retirement products to help protect you and your family so that you can enjoy all the moments to come.
This is Josh Ray, your local Woodman Life agent. Come see us at 1009 West Main Street or give us a call at 365-6111.
Certain eligibility and age restrictions apply. Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska.
Get into shape and feel good at Trilogy Performance Sports. Trilogy offers a wide range of family-friendly classes as well as personal training, yoga, gymnastics, sports training, cardio, and weightlifting. Trilogy has something for everyone. Trilogy now offers an app with online workouts, live classes, nutrition tracking, and more. Search Trilogy Performance Sports in your app store. Use sign-up code 1824. For app info and more, follow them on Facebook.
It's time to vote in the best of Western Kentucky. Cast your vote now at WPKYonline.com. Vote in over 115 categories with just one vote per category. Voting ends February 21st in the best of Western Kentucky.
Caldwell County is a special place in Western Kentucky, featuring beautiful tracts of land. Even though the real estate market is always in a constant state of change, Bollinger Real Estate and Auction understands this and is ready to work for you.
Hi, my name is Ben Bollinger with Bollinger Real Estate and Auction. Whether it's a property valuation or time to sell, Bollinger's team is dedicated to work for you. Real estate solutions with a passion for people.
1580, 103.3 WPKY. Welcome back to the Sideline Report. It is a Thursday morning here at WPKY. As I mentioned, Bob Hayes in the studio with us today. Also joining us on the phone now is former Tiger Luther Bramblett, who is the head coach at Midway University. And Luther, good morning. Thanks for coming on the show with us.
Good morning, guys. Happy to be there with you.
Yeah, you guys are going to get at it just next weekend, right?
We're supposed to open up next weekend. Obviously, 20-degree weather's not making that look very pleasant, but that's the plan as of now. Hopefully the weather breaks.
Well, you know, you can never really trust the forecast this time of year, though.
No. No, it's crazy. I was talking to some guys the other day. You know, usually we open up at Mobile, but with the COVID and everything, I didn't think it was a good idea to put guys on a bus for 10-plus hours and hotels that early in the season with flu season and everything going on. So we canceled it. But in years past, we would be down there, and it'd be nice, you know, in the low to mid-50s, but it'd be 45 and sunny here. And I always thought we could be playing at home.
Well, and looking at your schedule, it looks like a lot of home games this season to start the year.
Yeah, well, you know, we're obviously excited about our field and facility and feel like we've got a nice facility and want to play as many games as possible at home. And like I said, usually the weather gives us an opportunity to do that, but this year's crazy. Last year was crazy with the COVID, and this year we're still fighting that, and now we got this. I still have snow on the ground out there right now. So,
oh, wow. How many games were you guys able to get in last season before everything kind of shut down?
I think we've got in 23 games.
That's pretty good then.
Last year. Yeah, overall pretty good. We played 7 home games, and then we're in the second weekend of our conference schedule, and that's when everything got shut down. So we played a game, and turned around and came right back home.
How has practice gone for you guys? Has there been some COVID regulations or anything you have to kind of go by to try to get ready for this season?
Well, we went 9 weeks in the fall. Every day we have to do temperature checks when they get there. We have to check their green screen, which is basically them answering a bunch of questions and make sure that they're not sick or have any symptoms or anything like that. And we practiced 9 straight weeks, and the very last day of our fall, we had our first positive case. So we were very fortunate. I thought our guys have done a great job of social distancing and wearing masks and trying to stay away from each other in dugouts and all that good stuff and not going out, being around people. So we've continued that process so far during our practice with the temp checks and all that type of stuff. And it really hadn't had very many issues. We haven't personally yet. I know a lot of other teams here have missed. Our basketball teams have missed a lot of games because of quarantine and other teams quarantining, and I think that's just going to be something that we're going to end up dealing with too. I mean, it's bound to happen. Somebody's going to test positive. Somebody's going to come down with it, or one of the teams that we have on our schedule that we're supposed to play are going to be quarantined. Or if a group of kids get quarantined, and we may be playing a bunch of backups just to play. So it's going to be an interesting spring.
Well, tell us about your program there at Midway, because you're the only head coach in school history, right?
That is correct. We started the program back in 2017 was our first spring season. Won the conference that first year. I had a bunch of guys that I brought with me from St. Catherine, and we just kind of got hot at the right time. And since then, it's kind of been a building process with, you know, quite a bit of adversity with not having your own facility on campus, nowhere to practice on campus. Since that time, we've built a brand new field on campus. We built a covered hitting facility right next to our field over the summer. So that's been a huge plus for us this fall and early spring. We've got a brand new auxiliary gym with a couple cages in it that we can practice in. We've used that a couple times this spring so far. Brand new weight room, new offices, indoor track. So we've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle now. So we're just continue to try to recruit quality players and try to attract some kids here.
Sounds like you guys have it going on then. What's kind of the long term? Yeah, what's kind of the long term plan for you guys?
The long term plan for facilities, or just the overall program?
Just kind of the overall program. I'm going to get to the facilities in a minute because you know I like talking about baseball fields, so we're going to get to that. But what's kind of the overall thing for the program?
Well, obviously, we want to compete for conference championships, and if we could be one of the top teams in our conference, that means we're going to be one of the top teams nationally, and obviously that's what we want to compete for. We want to compete to win conference championships, get to the national tournament, and give our guys the opportunity to go to the World Series. That's, at the end of the day, that's, in my opinion, why anybody should be playing and competing and coaching.
Well, as you go into this season, what's your kind of thoughts on your team going into 2021?
Well, I think we got a good group of kids. I think offensively we're going to be better than we were last year. I think defensively on paper we should be better than we were last year. We've lost some arms to eligibility issues. We've had an injury that basically our top 3 arms in our rotation last year are not back. One is because of an injury, one is for grades, one transferred out when the COVID hit, wanted to get closer to home. So we don't know exactly how our pitching is going to be. We have a lot of arms, but it's a lot of young arms. So we're going to have to throw them in the fire early in the year and try to outscore people, I think, until we get our feet up under us on the mound, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, do you usually use the first part of the season to kind of see where everybody is and who might be the best fits in each spot?
We do. We've got several returners back from last year. Of course, the COVID, a lot of people don't understand how that's affected college athletics, especially college baseball. I've got 30 freshmen on my roster right now because all of our freshmen that were here last year are freshmen again because of the COVID. Everybody got a year of eligibility back. So I had every senior return except 2. They ended up graduating and wanted to get on with their life and start working. But every other senior came back, every other junior came back, sophomore and freshman, and they're all the same thing again. They're all seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. So every college roster across the country is dealing with the same type of stuff where they've got a lot of returners back. So all the freshmen that we signed last year, excuse me, that to come in are now competing against the same team that we had last year, basically. So we've got a lot of guys that we know what they're capable of, expect them to be impact guys that will obviously get the bulk of the playing time. But yes, in years past, we do try to, in those early season games before we get into conference, try a lot of different lineups, try a lot of different guys out there and give kids opportunity to compete and earn a spot.
We're talking this morning with Luther Bramblett, who is the baseball coach at Midway University, and he's a former Tiger, and Bob Hayes in the studio with us. Luther, you mentioned your facilities there, and I've seen the pictures on Twitter a lot, and looks like your baseball field is just looking great right now.
I tell you, it was a blessing that our season got canceled, and we only played 7 games on it last year. That really gave it time to grow in a lot better, because last year the sod was only in for 4 months before we started playing on it. So this full year of not having anybody on it, a full summer, we didn't have any summer tournaments or anything out there on it because of the virus. So it really has matured and come a long way. We've been dealing with some drainage issues, and we've attacked that pretty good. Of course, adding that covered hitting facility with 2 full-length cages in there and soft toss areas and plyo walls and all that, that was huge for us. So we're definitely excited about it. Got the seating in, got the scoreboard up. We played 7 games last year with no scoreboard. So that finally got in over the summer, and so it's really starting to take shape, and we're definitely proud of it.
Well, I think you must have seen my notes, because my next question was going to be, did it actually kind of help that COVID canceled the season for the most part, and you didn't have people on the field for the most part last year?
And it did. It really did. We went 9 weeks on it this fall, and you couldn't even tell that we were really out there. No wear spots, no hot spot. I mean, it just, that year off really did help the field overall, I think.
Well, and when you were designing this complex, did you kind of use some other ideas from other places, or how did that kind of come together?
Well, basically, I took everything that I hated about fields that I played at or coached at, and fields and things that I liked about that places that I've coached or played. Obviously, I've got a bunch of coaching friends, and of course, we've talked a lot about it. And I tried to give it some character. The field I was at for 15 years at St. Catherine was a canyon. It was 400 center, 375 at the gaps, 330 down the lines. And the way the field was set, the wind always blew in, or it blew across from foul pole to foul pole. And we never could hit home runs. So I wanted to make sure that this field was a little more offensive, and which has proven to be true. The wind seems like it's always blowing out here, and balls do jump out a little bit if you square it up right. So that's been fun. The bullpens and the angles that we've got on the field, I think add some character to it. There's not a whole lot of foul territory down the lines when you get close to the bullpen. So there's just some pretty cool character to it. And then you throw in the horse pastures that wrap around it and all that black fencing and train that goes about 20 yards behind left field wall, center field wall there. It's got some pretty cool, neat things added to it.
Well, and I think if you're a baseball person, you probably have that love for baseball fields, and I think that's something that maybe is unique to baseball is the fact that baseball people tend to love baseball fields and baseball stadiums as much as they love the game of baseball.
No question. When I first was designing it, I thought that the left field corner is where I was going to put home plate, and I was going to add a little, in right field was going to be a short porch kind of, and I was going to add a little Crosley Field run-up ramp there, warning track type thing going up to a high fence. So, I was taking bits and pieces from old baseball stadiums and old professional fields, and I thought it was going to be really cool, but the architects ended up turning it around and getting rid of that idea. So, but we're pretty pleased with it, overall happy with it. And, plans for the future obviously are going to be, some type of clubhouse, locker room facility for our guys, and then lights, obviously. That'll be the next big ticket price that we need to get out there so we can practice a little later in the fall and have everybody there instead of coming in late from class, and then having a lot of summer tournaments so we can get people on campus, let them see the facility and play here, and us have a little easier job doing some recruiting and making a little money on the side as well.
Well, when you mentioned the train tracks nearby, I thought you might go all Brewster's Millions on us. And what was it, the Hackensack Bulls that had the tracks going right through the outfield?
Yeah. That'd have been interesting to have that, no question.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Looking ahead to this year, you do have a former Caldwell County player on your roster, and I think Bob is familiar with that guy. So tell us kind of how things are going for that individual.
Mr. Davis is had a good fall for us. I think we're going to use him a lot more on the mound this year. Over offensively, he had a good fall on the mound, and he's nursing a little injury right now. Has to see the doctor Monday. He hadn't been practicing this week. Tweaked his knee sliding into a base the other day. But I expect him to throw a lot of innings for us. He's matured, got a little stronger, which has definitely helped his fastball velocity, and his breaking pitch is a little sharper. So I could see him coming out of the pen quite a bit for us in long relief or even potentially spot starting. So with our young, inexperienced staff, at least he got his feet wet last year and has an idea about what to expect. So I expect him to throw quite a bit for us this year.
I think you'll probably see Bob in the stands a lot.
Which would be a good thing, man. I enjoy talking to Bob.
And likewise, Luther, have you gotten anything done yet as far as a seating arrangement or something concrete? I know the bleachers behind the plate are there, but going down to third base and first base lines, are they in yet, or is that still part of the future plan?
That is definitely extending our grandstand seating, dugout to dugout is definitely in the future plans. I've been trying to push forward to get it done, hopefully this summer, but I haven't heard anything yet. But as of now, with the COVID restrictions, I think they're gonna close behind home plate because people don't like following social distancing and all that type of stuff. It's just a headache. So what we done in the fall is we painted in all of our grassy areas around the stadium and then along the hillside. We got a nice little bowl down the right field line and around into the right field outfield. We're going to paint basically 6x8 boxes for people to come bring their chairs, put in there, and we're spreading them out about 8 to 10 feet apart all the way down through there, so fans can come put their seats, bring their chairs, and sit comfortably and have great views and sight lines of the field. Right now, our attendance policy are parents of our team, family of our team only. No visiting parents are allowed, and then obviously students are allowed to come watch as well. That's kind of what we've got in place right now for the outdoor sports this spring.
So grandparents are allowed, Luther, by that mixture, if you will?
I think so. Don't hold me to it, but yeah, I think so.
Well, good. We're looking forward to coming up and seeing the team play, whether John's playing or not. We enjoyed it last year, the 2 or 3 games that we got to see, and people can't, until they see that stadium field, don't know what they're looking at by picture, because it's certainly more beautiful in person than it is on any Twitter or Facebook picture.
I agree. People need to see it. I tell people all the time, man, stop by and check it out. You need to see it in person.
Well, we hope John has a big year. And as far as recruiting goes, Luther, where do you look for your players, and what kind of players do you look for?
Well, we've got guys from all over the country. We got guys from California, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. I've got guys from surrounding states here, Indiana, Tennessee. Obviously, the bulk of our roster comes from Kentucky. We do have a JV and a varsity schedules. We do it a little different. We practice all of our JV guys with our varsity guys. I want those freshmen, young high school kids coming in and competing against our older guys, so they see what it's about and learn how to play the game, and hope that those older upperclassmen teach those young guys how we do things here. So the competition side of things, I want kids that want to compete, not only on the field but in the classroom. You know, we're pretty proud of being the ABCA academic team with an overall team 3.0 team GPA 2 out of the 4 years that we've had the program. Our fall GPA was close to a 3.1. So we're looking for guys that want to come to college to get their degree. That's why they're here. You know, the chances of them playing professional baseball, making millions of dollars a year, are slim to not going to happen. But the chances of them paying for taxes and a house payment and a car payment and cell phone bills, that's great. So they need to get their education. So we're looking for quality students that want to be here, that want to be a part of our program. Obviously, we're going to try to get some guys from the junior college ranks to come in and be impact players for us, transfers, because at the end of the day, we want to compete at the national level, and that's what we're competing against across the state and the NAI level. Bunch of transfers, Division I transfers, junior college transfers. So that's where we're trying to get our program to, you know, quality group of kids that are going to be good in the classroom, be good on the field, and represent our university in the right way.
Well, and you're a former Caldwell County player. Do you still kind of keep an eye on Western Kentucky baseball too?
I do. We've got another kid from the western part of the state, from Marshall County. Some guys might know Mike Johnson. Like we've got CJ, his boy, here with us. We had Easton last year, obviously. I don't know if college was down his alley, but he was a good kid and enjoyed having him around last year. I think he's going into the military now, from what I've heard. And I've obviously got to try to get some of those guys from Caldwell that have gone on to the junior college, see if we can keep those guys in state and get them back here. But yeah, I do keep an eye on it down there, and I'm proud of what Bradley had done, and obviously excited for Jimmy to get another shot at it and see how he continues the success of the program moving forward.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time with us and coming on the radio with us and talking to us this morning. I do have one more thing. You are a baseball guy, and I know you probably still keep up with the majors, and looks like the designated hitter thing is going to kind of become a thing in both the National League and the American League. So do you have any thoughts on the designated hitter? Because that's something you probably see every day.
I do. We use the designated hitter, and I'm kind of in the middle. I'm a purist, but I'm also a realist. The amount of money that they pay those pitchers to throw, why would you want to take a chance of those guys getting smoked or break a hand or something, getting hit by a pitch? Let these hitters hit and give the older guys that can really swing the bat extend their career by making them a DH. I like the DH personally. I like offense in baseball, but I do like a good 2-to-1 baseball game as well. So I'm for the DH. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that I'm for the DH, but I'm probably not as against it as I once was. 25 years ago, if they said the DH was coming to the National League, I would probably have thrown something through the TV. But I'm kind of warming up to the idea a little bit.
Yes. Well, it definitely helped the Cardinals to get another bat in the lineup, don't you think?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And while I got you all,
okay,
the Hall of Fame thing that came across one of your social media things the other day, I think is an outstanding idea.
Yeah, it's just trying to get it off the ground and get everything going. Football has a Hall of Fame at Caldwell County because individuals took it upon themselves to create that Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And the tough thing is, do you wait for each individual sport to create their own Hall of Fame, or do you have an official school Hall of Fame? I would kind of like for the school to take the lead on that, but
they should.
At this point, it's a lot of work. It took a lot to get the Football Hall of Fame going. It takes a lot to keep it going. But, yes, we have a ton of athletes, and I could sit here and tick down every sport. I could probably name 4 or 5 people immediately that would go into a school Hall of Fame. And it's something I would love to see and would love to have a hand in. It's just something that's never quite gotten off the ground yet.
Well, I think it's a great idea, and if I could help in any way, I'd love to do it. I was thinking on my drive into work, I got an hour drive every day, so I was thinking about the phone calls today, and I wanted to bring that up. And, I was sitting there thinking we've got wrestlers that have won state titles. We've got a professional golfer. We've got soccer players that have gone on and had great careers in college. I mean, every single sport, you can go down the list. I've had some great athletes come out of there, and for Caldwell County not to have a Hall of Fame recognizing all those things. I think this is going to be the 30-year anniversary for the first region baseball title.
Yes, I think that's 91? Right. Yeah. That team needs to be in the Hall of Fame, man.
Right. I could probably 6 or 7 or 8 guys off that team that went on to play college baseball somewhere.
Yeah, I could probably find 30 guys for a baseball Hall of Fame. Softball has had players that were named not only All-State, but Player of the Year in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, volleyball the same. I always had a rich tradition athletically, and I just think it's a shame that there's no Hall of Fame to recognize all those guys. Obviously, there's been some great basketball players come out of Caldwell as well, and I just think it'd be a great thing for Caldwell County and to recognize all those athletes because it's been pretty strong athletically over the years.
Well, we kind of take it for granted sometimes too, and I think that's part of the issue. But fingers crossed, maybe eventually we will get there.
Well, if I can help, if I need to be on the board or committee or whatever, I'd more than happy to help.
Absolutely. We'll keep you in mind.
All right, guys. I appreciate you calling and talking. Anytime I can talk baseball and talk about a program, I love doing it, man.
All right. We appreciate it. Good luck to you guys this season.
Take care, Luther.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Come see us.
I will. Thank you.
All right.
That is Luther Bramblett. He's the baseball head coach at Midway University and, of course, a former Tiger. And, Bob, we always love to see the former Tigers doing well.
Exactly. That's the beauty of living in a small town, to see the people that have come through the programs 10 years later, 20 years later, 30 years later, do something with what they went through earlier in their life.
Need to get to a break here on the show, but we'll be back with more after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Fredonia Valley Bank.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast today. Rain moving in. Today's high 49 degrees. 80% chance of rain tonight. Overnight low down to 26 degrees. Sunshine for Friday and Saturday. Friday's high 43. Saturday's high 45 degrees. Once again, our forecast today, rain moving in with a high near 49. Right now, 33 degrees in Princeton, mostly cloudy skies.
Winter's creeping our way. It's time to button up your car, truck, and SUV with a pre-winter inspection from Trice Hughes' service department. They'll do a multi-point inspection of your vehicle, including checking your antifreeze, wiper blades, battery, and more. Time to get ready for Old Man Winter with Trice Hughes.
Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Hi, this is Kelly Martin of Pennyroyal Hospice, and we are proud to be a part of the greatest comeback of all time.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Todd Griffin in the WPKY studios. I appreciate Luther Bramblett spending some time with us today, and actually Bob spent a little longer with Luther than we had originally planned, but that's okay. We got a lot of good baseball talk, and quite frankly, I could have done an hour on just talking about his baseball field.
And Luther, as we've mentioned off air, Todd, he loves to talk baseball. He loves to talk about his facility, his team, and he is in a happy spot where he is right now in that stadium. It really, until the people see it in person, can't believe what it looks like.
We do have some news. Switching to basketball for just a second. Maybe you heard it this morning on Scott Brown's sports report, but just yesterday, the region ADs voted to have boys regional basketball at Madisonville this year. Madisonville North Hopkins. Girls is going to be at Hopkins County Central this year. Less than 400 in attendance, though. I think 15% capacity is the listed attendance. No cheerleaders, no bands, no dance teams this year. So, Bob, I don't think a lot of us realized it at the time, but one of the things that makes the region tournament or the district tournament is having a packed house and having cheerleaders and bands and dance teams and everybody there, and we just can't have that now.
Well, and when you get down to the semifinal games and the final games, you know the place is going to be packed simply because of the nature of what's on the line. Bands, the concession people are out. A lot of loss of income due to that decision, but certainly we understand why it was made.
Well, and rumor is that the first-round games may end up at the district winners, so you'd have first-round games at 4 different sites. Nothing, finalized in that area as far as I know yet, but at least that was the rumor kind of floating around.
So it's still not yet determined where those first-round games will be then.
Originally, the girls' tournament was supposed to be at Union County this year, but that's been moved to Hopkins County Central. I guess, though, Madisonville and Hopkins Central, more centralized locations, I guess, maybe makes a little shorter bus ride for the people that have to travel to it. So maybe that's the thought process there. But it's kind of like what we saw in volleyball, when the Lady Tigers made the state tournament, and the first round of the state tournament was at the Cab Gym.
And there's a lot to be said for that, even though the girls didn't really get to experience, quote, a visit to the state as such, but still it was a first round of the state tournament, and certainly that looks good on anybody's resume.
Well, and you bring up a good point there, and to me this is the thing about playing first round games at home sites is you kind of lose that regional tournament feel. Part of the tournament atmosphere is congregating at one site with everybody and playing the tournament.
And that's the thrill of the basketball, the noted where everybody in Kentucky is eligible for the state basketball crown, and getting all those 16 teams to wherever it's played is still a great thrill to experience.
Again, thanks to Luther Bramblett for coming on the show this morning and his Midway University team opening up 4 games at home, supposedly if the weather holds, February 12th and 13th. And, Bob, I'm not sure a lot of people realize that the college baseball and spring sports seasons get underway that quickly.
It's certainly at hand, and as Luther mentioned, I know from my experience of last year, the team always went to Mobile for the southern swing, and they would be down there 1 week, come back, and go to another southern location. But all that's not the same this year, and so he's opening at home, playing a lot of home games early on.
Well, and talking about baseball and softball and those sports, it's really not that far off until the high school season starts. As a matter of fact, the first baseball scrimmage at home will be against Webster County on Thursday, March 25th. The Tigers open the regular season at home Tuesday, March 30th against Hopkins County Central. Caldwell softball will open the season at Henderson County on Monday, March 29th. The first home softball game is the next day, Tuesday, March 30th. Also, Hopkins County Central coming to town there. So, Bob, that's really not that far off to start talking about baseball, softball, and the spring sports.
It's not, and you just wake up. It's well, it's not early. It's early February now, and you wait 4 weeks. It becomes early March, and then you got baseball, softball within 2 more weeks after that. So the kids have got to use these next 6 weeks to get themselves ready, mostly inside, some outside work. It seems like we're going through the cold part of the season right now, Todd, and if that continues, they're going to have an even tougher time getting outside if the grounds can't dry.
Well, and everything pushed back just a little bit this year. We're going to see the district basketball tournaments later than we usually do, regional basketball tournaments, and then even when you get to baseball and softball, everything's been pushed back a few weeks. So the COVID situation continues to affect sports at pretty much every level.
And it will continue to do that for all this summer, maybe heading into the fall. Maybe when we get into the early fall, mid-fall, we'll have some sort of normalcy looking us in the eye rather than still deciding what to do and how to do things.
Looking ahead for high school basketball, Caldwell County will host the district tournament this season. So, Bob, that has to be a bit of advantage for the local teams there.
Yes, absolutely. Not to have to travel is always big.
And in softball this year, Caldwell will host the 7th district tournament. As we said, that's a little ways off. And baseball should be at Madisonville. The last district tournament was at Hopkins County Central. And, Bob, I'm going to get this wrong all year because I'm going to say last season, and there was no last season. It was 2019.
Well, that's right. You're going to have, when you say last season, last.
Yeah, the last season. So it's going to be tough to keep up with, and still difficult to wrap my head around the fact that we didn't have spring sports last season.
And these baseball and softball players losing a year of eligibility, so to speak.
Well, and a lot of teams around had really high hopes, and Caldwell, I think, got in one scrimmage in baseball last year, and that was it. The plug got pulled really quickly, and the rug was kind of swept out from in under everybody. And like I said, I'll be saying last season or last year for the entire 2021 season, but I'll be talking about 2019.
Well, and the other thing that last season took away were those seniors' final year of playing high school baseball or high school softball. That can't be replaced, and you feel sorry for those athletes that were in that position.
Need to get to another break here on the show. We'll be back with more right after this, though, on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Coon Dog Inn.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast today. Rain moving in. Today's high 49 degrees. 80% chance of rain tonight. Overnight low down to 26 degrees. Sunshine for Friday and Saturday. Friday's high 43. Saturday's high 45 degrees. Once again, our forecast today, rain moving in with a high near 49. Right now, 33 degrees in Princeton, mostly cloudy skies.
Trice Hughes wants your vehicle to last as long as possible. It's getting cooler, and that brings on the yellow light on your dash. Tire pressure. When the temperature drops, so does your tire pressure. This can cause a warning. Stop by Trice Hughes, and they'll check your tires and get rid of that stubborn light.
Trice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Shop local, buy local, save big. It's here. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com. Click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. Here you'll find dozens and dozens of gift certificates. Some you'll even be able to redeem from your smartphone. Shop and buy 24 hours a day and save a ton of money in the process. Save on oil changes, dining out, haircuts, car washes, and more. Our store never closes. But you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for spending part of Thursday morning with us and talking sports. Again, thanks to Luther Bramblett for coming on the show and telling us all about his Midway University baseball team. Bob Hayes is in the studio with us this morning. And, of course, basketball action coming up Friday. The guys will be over at Madisonville North Hopkins. You can listen to that game here on WPKY. Saturday, the girls are at home against Ohio County. You can listen to that game on WPKY as well. And you can also watch Saturday's game on the free live video stream at WPKYonline.com. And now we get to the part of the show that Bob and I have been waiting for, talking about the St. Louis Cardinals. So if you're not a Cardinals fan, thanks for tuning in this morning. And, Bob, the Cardinals finally got their man from the Colorado Rockies.
Finally landed Nolan Arenado, and can't wait to see how he fits into the picture. Obviously, he's going to fit huge into the picture, being able to play third base and be another bat in the lineup to protect Paul Goldschmidt. It's been a great offseason for the Cardinals just in the last couple days.
Well, and the only downside yesterday, Colton Wong, the second baseman, signing with the Milwaukee Brewers, and that's a bit of a shock, I think, maybe to some Cardinals fans. But, Bob, it kind of felt like once the Cardinals signed Arenado, maybe Wong became a little dispensable.
And I think that's true, Todd, and also it's true, I think, because of what Tommy Edman had done the last two previous seasons in St. Louis, where he was playing outfield, third base, some second base, that they felt if they signed the big hitter, that Colton maybe became expendable with the ability for Edman to play second base.
Well, and I think the Cardinals and the Brewers were probably the top two teams in the NL Central before all this happened. Maybe with the signings, with Arenado going to the Cardinals and Wong to the Brewers, maybe they have distanced themselves a little bit between themselves and the rest of the NL Central.
And I'm still not sure about what Cincinnati has done in the offseason, but they had a lot of young, hot bats last year, not a lot of pitching at time, but I'm not sure how they've strengthened their club or if they have strengthened their club.
Well, and another big thing for Cardinals fans, they have re-signed Adam Wainwright, and that's a big deal. I think he's still got a little in the tank, but more importantly, I think it's a leadership aspect that Waino brings to the club.
You can't diminish his role in the locker room, Todd. I don't care whether he's good for 10 wins this year or what, but he has a stabilizing force, a man of maturity, just a lot of good things that he brings to the table.
Now, depending on who you listen to, Yadier Molina is either on the verge of signing with the Cardinals again after the Caribbean Series gets done. The Caribbean World Series, I think, finishes up this week. So some reports say Yadi is poised to re-sign with the Cardinals. Others say, maybe the Blue Jays are still in on him.
And I'm not sure when Wainwright inked his contract, I was expecting Yachty the next day to do something regarding his contract, because those two guys have been together since basically 2003, and you just don't see them being broken apart.
Well, and another rumor that I just happened to come across last night was that if Yachty re-signs with the Cardinals, that Marcell Ozuna has expressed interest in playing another year with Yachty. And I believe Ozuna, who played with the Braves last season, is a free agent. So you could probably see the Cardinals finding a spot for his bat in the lineup someplace.
If not as the DH, and I'm not sure whether the National League is going to continue what they did last year in the shortened season of having the DH, or I haven't read that final decision yet, but we've got a place either in the DH category for Marcell or a place in the outfield for him.
Yeah, I don't know if the DH is a done deal, But when you look at it, and Major League Baseball wants it in the National League, the Players Association wants it in the National League, I think it's just a matter of somebody saying it's official and here's the DH. I think it's an inevitability at this point.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen, and I'm like you. I've sort of mellowed a little bit in that situation. I think as a baseball purist, you want all 9 players hitting, but I can understand the role of the DH, and for the most part, didn't mind it last summer when it was introduced into the National League. And getting back to the Arenado trade, Todd, the Cardinals gave up 5 players, but only really one of their top 5 minor league prospects. And I hope this doesn't come back to roost, because a couple of players in the last 5 or 6 years Cardinals have traded have come back to kind of bite us a little bit, like Randy Arozarena, who went to Tampa Bay, and Luke Voigt, who's now hitting 30 home runs a year for the Yankees. So hopefully we didn't give up a lot of prospects in that regard. But I think the move to get Arenado at third base was huge for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that was a situation where it seemed like Colorado was kind of in a bind as far as the contract went. I think Arenado had a no-trade clause, and he would only waive it for the Cardinals and the Dodgers. So a lot of people look at the Rockies and say, well, they didn't get very much, but had they kept him this season, he had an opt-out, and if they had waited to the end of the season, my understanding is the Rockies couldn't have gotten anything for him. He would just have walked away a free agent. So I'm not sure how the compensatory picks and all that thing works in Major League Baseball anymore, but with the Rockies, it was a choice of either get something now or take nothing later.
And I think that's I don't know what you do at the end of the season. Had he stayed with the Rockies, whether you get a compensatory pick or one of the Rule 5 picks or a draft choice, I don't know how baseball does that anymore, but obviously the Rockies weren't willing to take that risk.
And Colorado, I think, sent about $51 million with Arenado to St. Louis, so St. Louis is basically getting a third baseman for free this year, but the Rockies saved a ton of money on the other end of that.
And the Rockies, obviously, it was a financial decision for them, and if Arenado can come in and hit 300 with 30 home runs and 120 RBIs, we'll be happy.
Well, it has always kind of felt wrong to me when you look at professional sports that you let a player who, an 8-time Gold Glove third baseman there in Colorado, and you basically let him walk for financial reasons just to get his contract off of your salary list. And like I say, they sent $51 million with him, but they save about $100 million off of his contract. So to see a player, whether it's baseball or basketball or football, to see a player moved just to get rid of his salary, that always seemed kind of anti-sports to me somehow.
But that's, as they say, baseball is a business, and you know anytime you see something that doesn't look right, sound right, that next statement, well, it's a business.
Well, hopefully the weather's warming up. I've enjoyed talking a lot of baseball this morning. Again, thanks to Luther Bramblett from Midway University for joining us. And, Bob, appreciate you coming in. Like I said, we could have done another hour just on baseball this morning.
It's been my pleasure, Todd. Thank you.
That's Bob Hayes. This is Todd Griffin. Thanks a lot for listening to the Sideline Report this morning. This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
WPKY, Princeton. Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. It's a stronger than expected weekly unemployment report.
779,000 Americans filing for first-time unemployment benefits last week. This was for the final week of January. It is the third week we've seen the number decline, so moving in the right direction as states start to ease restrictions following that COVID-19 surge right around the holidays.
Lauren Simonelli with Fox Business. Wyoming Republican Liz Cheney survives a vote